We'll start with what to prepare, and then Tony, if it's all right with you, we can then go through the Robo Sports. All right. So the very first thing about
100%. Thank you,
great.
Duncan, for that intro.
Thank you, Tony. If you don't know Tony, he's been around in WRO for quite a long time. He's one of my absolute favorite people. And he is really our RoboSports expert here in South Africa. He's also been judging RoboSports overseas for quite a few years now, I think. And you will definitely know Tony if he gets hold of a microphone. He's one of my favorite, absolute awesome MC. So, what we're going to cover today, we're going to start with what to bring with you to these events, as well as the registration process, what you can expect, the team seating areas, how all of that works, as well as what can go wrong with your teams on the day, and some tips and tricks to overcome some of the issues. So starting right away, we have what to bring with you, and you will need to bring with you a multi-plug or an adapter of some kind. At the event, you'll be given one 3-pin plug for each team. So that means that you will only have one plug point. This is for all of the categories: Future Innovators, Robo Sports Explorer, Robo Mission, and Future Engineers as well. So you will only have this one 3-pin plug. Please also, when you plug it in, make sure that the plug is on. And if it's not, then you need to contact the judge at your table, and they will then work with the organizers to make sure that power gets to your row. You'll need a plug that's compatible with your programming device and with your charger for the robot that you are using. So please make sure that you have something that's compatible with it. If you have a 2-pin, then you will need to have some kind of plug that has a 2-pin adapter. Please remember to bring with you your competition robot. It is a very important piece, and without it, you will not be able to compete. And this could be your EV3, a Spike Prime, Arduino, anything that you have as a robot can be brought with. Please bring all of the download cables, make sure that your battery is fully charged, and you are welcome to bring any extra motors and sensors, cables, and any pieces or elements that you may need for your robot on the day. Please bring your programming device. It is very important. You'll need to alter your program for the surprise rules if you're in Robo Mission, but you'll also need to calibrate your robots for the day's event across all of the categories. So please, if it's a laptop or a tablet, bring it with. Make sure it's charged. And for our coaches, very important, please make sure that the teams have the password to log into these things. It is very important, as without it, the team can't do anything, and we do not want to run around looking for you to try and find a password. Very important, please plug it in. It will be on for quite a time, and we cannot rely on battery backups. Teams do not save their programs that often, and we have had cases where programs or computers have crashed and teams have lost their program for the day. So please tell your teams to save often and to make sure their devices are plugged in. A big one, programming devices are not allowed at the competition tables, so during practice or during scoring, unless it has been quarantined with the robot during the quarantine time. We then have an addition for Robo Mission. There is a robot specification sheet. This was sent to you in the invitations. You can also find a copy of it on our website, WRO South Africa website, wrosa.co.za. Please, this needs to be completed beforehand, and you will hand it to your table judge on the day. This will then go underneath the team's quarantine sheet, and it is something that judges will refer to. You will not be able to qualify for nationals if you do not have this sheet with you. So please make sure you have these specification sheets. You then want to make sure that you have lunch, food, or something to drink. It is very important. Teams must have something to eat and drink on the day, but this is not allowed within the programming table area. Some venues will have special tables where items will be placed and teams can eat in those areas. Try and bring something with you to avoid the long lunch queues, or go and grab something during the practice time so that when the break hits, your teams will have something to eat. Otherwise, everybody leaves the venue and goes to the same place. So if you think about the number of teams that we have at some of these events, if we have 10 tables, we're looking at a total of 60 teams. So that's possibly 180 to 200 children, which means you have 200 people moving to the tuck shop or to the food vendors all at the same time. So make sure that you have something to eat and drink for your teams and that you've planned accordingly. So there are some nice to haves. You are welcome to bring extra fully charged batteries, extra programming devices, specifically extra pieces, sensors, bricks, brains on controllers. Make sure you've got some extras, maybe not only for your team, but we do often have teams that have forgotten these things and they require them in order to compete. So we normally will put out a request to the crowd to say if anyone's got a spare for a team, they are welcome to give that spare so that team can continue the competition. Taking a look at our registration process on the day, you will go during the day. If it is a Friday, this is the Explorer events, and there's only 3 provinces that are running Explorer on a Friday: Gauteng, Western Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. For the Friday Explorer events, you arrive at the venue at about 1 o'clock and you go through to the registration table. Make sure that your teams are ticked off. We know who is there. If there are team changes, we need to be notified of these changes to make sure your teams are still eligible. This not only goes for Explorer, but for Robo Mission, Future Innovators, and Robo Sports as well. For all the Saturday events, registration is between 8 and 8:30. Try get to the venues early so that your teams have some time to acclimatize, that they can see where everything is, and then sign in. Check all of the team sheets and see where you are sitting. So check out the seating charts. Teams are assigned seats. They can't just sit anywhere. And we normally place all of these schools or teams from the same school or club in the same position. That way they can share the pieces if needed. You must then work at your assigned table. So your teams have to work at the table that they have been assigned. They have to compete on the table that they have been assigned. They cannot go to another table. They must then wait for the doors to be opened for the competition area. You do not want your teams entering the competition area early, as they may be accused of cheating, because during this time, the judges will be going through the surprise rules. So please make sure that your teams enter the competition area at the correct time on the day. So with that, we will have our judges meeting, and any final preparations will be going on during this time, and we shouldn't disturb them unless the competition is going to run late. For teams that have selected to not allow photographs as per your registration, this means that your teams may be given a wonderful no photo sticker. We will do our best to not take photographs. It also means that if your teams win medals, they will not be photographed and they cannot be published anywhere, including by your own photographers. So keep that in mind. If you have selected to have no photos for your teams, they will not have any photos of any kind taken by anybody during the event. Here is an example of what the seating arrangements will look like, or what the venue will look like. All of the rows will be set out and labeled from A to whatever, depending on the size of your venue, with a corresponding table. A quarantine table will be set up for each of the tables. Some may be sharing. Please make sure your teams know where their quarantine table is and that they must get their robots into quarantine before the timer hits 0. So what to actually expect on our event day? So some things will happen for Explorer where teams may not score. This is a very common thing. Teams do not want to score, even when judges prompt them after they've had a really great run. Please encourage your teams to score, whether you're a judge or a coach. If you see something, let them know that they should be scoring. They have multiple chances to score, and judges in Explorer will only take a score that's higher than the previous score. Judges have been informed that they will prompt teams to score if they have seen a good run. It is always up to the team to whether they will accept that score or not. Judges will clarify rules with the teams. So if a judge sees a team that has misinterpreted a rule or not understood it correctly, they will clarify this rule during the practice rounds. It is the team's decision whether they will listen to that clarification or not. All of the judges will be judging in the same way, and the head judge's decision is final. Teams will have to wait in line in order to practice at their competition tables. How it works is as soon as a team's robot has stopped running during practice, so it's stopped on the table, they'll be given a few seconds where they can measure something or make a slight adjustment, and then they will need to move to the back of the competition line. Please watch out for robots running on low battery. If your robot's running on low battery, you may want to charge it or switch the battery out to make sure your robot is running at its best optimum time. For Robo mission, there will be randomization on the day. Randomization is where the head judges will randomize some of the competition elements. This is done in each of the quarantine rounds. Because we have 3 scoring rounds for Robo mission, it means that there will be 3 possible randomizations. You may have the same randomization if the judges draw out the same thing. However, it is quite unlikely this year given the number of randomizations possible. So your teams will not know where the elements are positioned on the table. They cannot select a program that will run that specific randomization. It has to be a single program on the brick or on the robot, which is able to scan all of the pieces that have been randomized and place them in the correct positions. For Robo mission, there is also a surprise rule, and this will be announced during the 5-minute surprise rule time right after the opening. And how it works is it will be a video presentation showing the teams where all of the elements need to go. It could be an extra element that's been added onto the table. It could be using something that was already existing on the table and it needs to go to a different location, or it could be something completely different. It may not even be made out of Lego. We don't know until we get there on the day. Again, we have 5 minutes where the surprise rule will be explained to your teams via the presentation. Teams will also receive from the judges during the presentation time a single sheet of paper explaining the surprise rule. It will tell them what they need to do and how many points the surprise rule is out of. The surprise rule will stay on the competition table whether the team wants to do it or not. They may not remove the surprise rule from the table. They do not have to do it. And for not doing the surprise rule, if you opt to not do it at all, you don't lose any points. All teams should be able to do the surprise rule. It should not be too difficult, and it is generally worth more points than other things on the game mat. It is a very good target. Now, that being said, for all of our new teams, the best piece of advice I can give you is in your first scoring run, ignore the surprise rule and rather focus on what you have been scoring at your club or in your labs. Get your first score in, make sure your robot's doing what it's doing, and then start changing your code or your robot to incorporate your surprise rule element. Teams again will have a quarantine round. The quarantine round, this is where judges will measure and weigh robots. We will check that they fit within the rules. If robots are too large, teams will be given 3 minutes in which they can make the changes. They are not allowed to upload a program or make any programming changes during this time for their robots. For quarantine, if your robot is using something such as Bluetooth and it can only connect via Bluetooth, then the device, the programming device, must be quarantined with the team's robots to make sure you are able to run. If you do not do this, you will not be able to run your robot. Within quarantine as well, once the practice timer hits 0, all robots must be in the quarantine zone. They must physically be sitting on the table. Get your teams to put the robots on the table before the timer hits 0. You're welcome to put it there half an hour before the timer is up if you would like. But opt to get your team to put the robot in with at least 1 minute left on the clock. Any robot that is not on the table when the timer hits 0 will not be allowed to run in the scoring round. It is crucial that your teams get their robots to the table during that time. This is an international rule, so please be aware of it and tell your teams that they must ensure they get there before the timer hits 0. Then Please note that some of the tables may have flaws. These could be little bumps on the mat. They may be screws. These could be little bubbles or maybe some difference in coloration. The rules state that 6.1.2 or 6.12, sorry, as you build and program, please keep in mind that the organizers make every effort to ensure that all fields are correct and identical, but you should always expect that there is some variability. This is from the game rules, and it is a very important one. Please expect there to be flaws. Please expect that colors will differ. Sunlight may be on the table. Lighting conditions may not be what you have in the club. Shadows may be on the mat itself. And that the texture on or under the mat may be slightly different. There may be waviness and the position might be slightly different. Your teams must adapt to the table on the day. The table will not adapt for the teams. So some general things to note. What you may experience is some robots not working. This may be due to the different table microconditions, such as dust on the table, the heat in the venue, light on the table, as well as many other things. The humidity in the air can affect how a robot runs. Different lighting conditions may affect a robot. If there is a lot of bright light, it may affect some of your sensors. Robots run best when it's dark because they produce their own light with most of the sensors, especially the Lego robots. And they may be having some programming issues. So your teams can expect that different micro conditions on the table, different lighting conditions, and that they may have some programming issues. We do expect to have hardware issues on the day. This happens every year at every event, and head judges may assist with hardware issues. Hardware issues are things like bricks or components not starting, not being plugged in. It could even be something where a motor has seized. The head judge is allowed to assist the team to try and resolve these issues. Any issue that is not the fault of the team, a head judge will do their best to try and solve, because we want teams to participate, especially knowing that they have been working on their robots for such a long time and are quite proud of them. So when a motor seizes, it may or is unplugged, the head judge will allow a team to plug it in or to exchange the motor if it can be proven. Often you will find that a sensor cable may be loose and it will turn off during a scoring run. If this is noticed, the judges may allow for a rerun on the mat. So please watch your teams or ask your teams to watch their robots. And if the team or the judge sees something, they can then request a rerun. We will experience some software issues. This could be something like programs being lost, corrupted, or not on the actual brick itself. In these instances, the head judges may assist by moving through and trying to see if they can find the program on the brick. During the scoring round, if there is no program on the robot, the team will not be allowed to re-upload it. All programs have to be downloaded or uploaded to the robot itself, to the internal memory, and they run from the robot. They should not be running from the device unless there is no other way to run a program. We'll also assist with firmware updates. The Spike Prime is notorious for this, so if there is a firmware update, judges will be able to assist and hopefully move through it. And your general device updates, we always have a Windows update when we don't want one, so judges will try their best to assist you with these as well. Then having a look at sort of our upload or download corruption. The best thing to get your teams to do is to save a program as regularly as possible. They should be saving their programming and one on the computer and uploading it to the robot every time the robot's moving to the table. Try not save it and find out what happens. Your team will lose their program and they may not be able to recover it. So again, if a robot arrives at the scoring table during the scoring round after quarantine and there is no program on the robot, the team will not be allowed to run. Most of the issues are caused when the team unplugs this robot before the program has had an opportunity to load on the device correctly. This can be avoided by getting your robot into quarantine early. Rather have it in early and make sure the program is on it than panic and risk the chance of losing your program. Participants will cry. There will be some who will be crying on the day, normally within our elementary and our junior teams, not so much in senior. Remember, our teams have put in a lot of effort into their robots. They're expecting them to run perfectly as they do in their lab, and some things happen on the day, and it doesn't always go their way. The emotions are quite high, so please, if you see teams crying, try and cheer them up. Let them know that it will be okay, and we will try and resolve issues. In cases where teams are really in sort of tatters and are unable to be or consoled by our judges, we will then look to the coaches and parents in the venue to come in and assist those teams to get them back up and running. Judges will do our very best to try and keep all of the teams positive and to have as much fun as possible throughout the competition. The judges' role at the event is to look after your teams. They are there for your teams. They are not there for you as coaches or spectators. Their primary role is to ensure your teams are having the best possible robotics experience. So keep that in mind if you would like to talk to one of the judges, that you are taking them away from the 6 teams that they will be looking after. Because of that, we request that you only communicate with head judges if needed. So please make sure, especially if a team needs some kind of medication or maybe they've got something that they need to eat or drink, please ensure it goes through the head judge and you leave your table judges to look after the teams. The judges will be accompanying teams to the bathrooms. This is for a couple of reasons. One, we want to make sure there is nobody hiding in the bathroom that can give a team a flash drive, or if you want to go into the really extreme scenarios, an entirely new robot. So teams will be escorted to and from bathrooms by the judges. They will not be standing in the stalls with your teams. They'll just be standing outside and waiting for them. We also want to make sure your team is safe, especially at venues that they don't know, as we do have some teams get lost at these venues, especially if the bathrooms are far away. Please expect that there will be lines during the lunchtime. Because we have so many people moving to lunch, we can expect that these lines will be quite long, so rather get your team's lunch early or bring something along with you. All of the venues should have something available for your teams to eat that you can purchase. So spectators, we welcome all spectators to any WRO event. You are welcome to come and have a look, and we would really love it if you did. Teams who have a lot of grandparents, we have a lot of parents who have no idea about the wonderful world of robotics, and this is an excellent opportunity for these teams to showcase what they know and their expertise. So please, spectators are more than welcome at any of our venues. So what can go wrong on the competition day? Well, robots will fail. There will be bad scoring rounds. But remember that you will have an opportunity to score again. There are multiple scoring chances. For Robo Mission, there are 3, and for Explorer, there are 4. For Future Innovators, you are judged more than once. So keep in mind that you will have multiple times, and you shouldn't get hung up on one failed attempt. There are some common issues. Robots not driving straight. This is normally a mechanical issue. It could be a wheel that's out of alignment. It could be a cable that's touching the actual wheel itself. Judges will try to assist if they can, if they notice something. And again, head judges will do their best. It could be related to weight distribution, a motor bias, a motor may have seized, or the wheel could be slipping. You may have some issues with your color or light sensors. This may be due to the lighting conditions on the day, the height of your sensor, its position and angle, as well as the micro conditions on the table, and the area that you are actually sensing of the element or the mat. It could even be a port issue. 99% of the time when you've got an issue with a sensor, it is because it's plugged into the wrong place and is being used in the wrong way in the program. We then have issues where programs are missing. This is when the program is corrupted. A team is running a program from the quick start menu. Some elements or some devices may have what we call a quick start menu, and this is not the full version or saved version of the program. So please make sure your teams are uploading the latest version of their program to their brick, especially for their scoring runs. It could be that their program had been renamed, so please Make sure the team writes down on the quarantine sheet what their program name is. 1, so the judge can make sure that they are running the correct program. And 2, if the head judge is called, they will double check to make sure the team is running the correct program. And this is primarily for Spike Prime, EV3, and NXT. So again, I've got another one there. So what can happen, teams have to sign score sheets after their scoring run. A team may opt to not sign the score sheet if they disagree with how the judge has judged. So they could be missing some points, for example. In these cases, the head judge is called and the head judge will make a final decision. The team will then sign the score sheet if they like. If the team decides still then not to sign the score sheet, the head judge will sign it, and whatever the score is on that sheet, it will be inputted into the system for your team. The head judges must see the table as they were on the day. So I ask you to get into practice that once your team has finished their scoring run, they step back from the table and they leave the robot where it is. Let the judges do their scoring. Don't distract them. And once the judges have finished their scoring, they will share the score with their team. At no point will they be communicating with the coaches or the spectators. You can give your team a high five and clap and cheer for them, but please don't yell and scream at our judges. They are people too, and they are doing their best. All of our judges are volunteers. Regarding videos and photos, judges are not allowed to look at any video or photographic evidence. They have the best view of the table versus your camera, which is 3 or 4 meters away. So keep in mind that we know what we are doing. Our judges have been trained, we have some experience, and that we will do our best to give the fairest and best possible outcome to your teams. Communication with coaches and spectators is a disqualifiable offense if we see this happening. If you're communicating with your team, giving them any advice, move the robot forward slightly by 1 degree, turn to the right by 360 degrees. There's a whole bunch of things that you can tell your team, which you shouldn't. If it's identified, your team may be disqualified. This is the only way that we can ensure fair and equality for all teams. So in that case, if you are judging and you've got teams, or if you're a coach or a spectator on the sideline, leave your teams alone. They know what they're doing. They've been practicing with these robots for a long time, and they know them better than you. So please leave them to do their thing. If there has to be communication, it will be through the coach and the head judge only. Our judges will only communicate with coaches because it is assumed that our coaches will understand all of the rules. So some tips and tricks for nervous teams. These are for our first timers. Try and focus on having fun on the day. Let them learn. A lot of the teams are going to be under pressure, especially when their robots are not performing. In their clubs, they run it different to how the competition is run. So they may not be used to waiting in line. And this takes a lot of their programming time away. So please understand that they are under pressure. Focus on fun rather than winning. Robots don't always run well. We are very aware of this, especially if you have been to any of these events. Don't expect it to run as it was during your club, especially if you are new to the World Robot Olympiad. And a big one for me, just have fun. For our first timers versus our veterans, first timers, you're up against teams who have experience. Some teams may have been doing this for more than 4 years, and they will have a lot of experience over you. Do not expect to be on their level when you start, please. You will get there one day. Rather enjoy the experience and have some fun. Then we have the national and international finals. Teams that have won a gold medal at their provincial event will be invited to the national final, and our teams that place for the international final will be contacted, and they will go through after nationals to the international final. Confidence levels are very important. Our veteran teams tend to have high confidence because they know what is going on and they've been practicing with their robots. And our first timers tend to be quite nervous. So please expect it if it's your first time, or if you're judging for the first time, it's your first time competing in WRO, that you will be nervous. And support. Our first timers may not have as much support as our veterans, because their families may not have come through for the first time. Please, if you see any team Support everyone and anyone in the venues. Shout not only for your own teams, but for the teams next to you. Please ensure that all children are respected and given the amazing accolades that they deserve for their robots. Please, when it comes to your judges, try and not speak to your judge unless it's absolutely necessary. The team and the judge will be communicating with one another. We will be informing teams of what's happening, where they need to go, how the timing works. All of the questions can be answered by our judges. Please, as a coach, this is your turn to sit back, relax, and just see how your teams do. If there are issues or concerns, again, please address these to our head judges, and any questions or clarifications will be made through our table judges to the teams and the head judges to the spectators and the coaches. Please cheer for all teams and be positive, no matter how a team is doing, even if it's your own team. Cheer for them. If it's not your own team, cheer for them. Make noise. Let them know that people care. Please do not shake your head when a team has done badly. This can have an incredibly negative effect on your team, as a lot of these children feel that they have let you down, not themselves. They have feel that they have let their coaches down, their school down, and their parents down if a robot fails. So please keep that in mind before you say or do something which may negatively affect any of the teams in the venue. Regarding our coaches and spectators, judges will only communicate through coaches, so please inform all of your spectators of this rule. We will only directly talk through the coaches. Judges are not allowed to speak. Judges are allowed to speak with the teams regarding penalization and disqualification without the coaches being present. This is within the general rules, and it is something we will do in extreme circumstances. Generally, if there is an issue with a team, we will inform the coach. But first we speak to the team and then we will speak to the coach. The teams are our number one priority. Now, before I jump to the Q&A, I'd like to pass over to Tony. Tony, if you are ready to do Robo Sports, please, you're welcome to take control and go through the Robo Sports category.
My fellow South Africans, good afternoon. I always say we are blessed with the best robo people, robotics people in the world, because Duncan is not the head judge in Gauteng. He's not the head judge in South Africa. He is the head judge in the whole of the world. He's running missions for the World Robot Olympiad International. So thank you for that. Well, we come to a very exciting category, Robo Sports. So you have a board, and you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 orange balls and 2 purple balls. Can you see the red ball there? Well, that's not the ball, that is my pointer. So that Robo Sports, you need 2 or 3 in a team with 2 robots on that board. And I will play you a little video. I hope it can play at the end, just for you to get the overall picture. So you can be as young as 11 years and up to you finish matric. First year on varsity, 19 years old, you can still compete. So for 2 minutes, your robot will have fun. I hope you have fun as well. And here I must say something. If you want to do this, your robot has got a camera or a light sensor, a color sensor that looks at the different colors. If it's orange, it throws it over or hits it over or kicks it over. If it's purple, it must keep it. So please, if you are interested to come and watch this Robo Sports, Robo Tennis, it is very important that you do not have any clothes on that is orange or purple. Because that robot will attack you, will kick you over the net, And if you have on purple, he will keep you. I'm making a joke, but this happens so many times. Even at the international, when all the robots went to the side, looking at the one judge who had an orange jersey on, because they saw the orange and they think it's a ball. So yes, even the robots are not allowed to have orange or purple on them because the other robots will then attack. So yes, this is a fun one. It's not like the other categories where you must go and get points. Here you play against an opponent, and the one that kicks over the most balls score the most. Now, if you kick over an orange ball, that's good for your tally. But if you kick over a purple ball, then that is bad. It's 2 points less. You must keep the purple balls on your side. And that brings me to the point that in this game, sometimes you kick so hard and you kick that purple ball right off the table. The judge will then take that orange ball and put it in one of the 2 corners. You are penalized, you kicked it out. No matter if it touches the other robot. That is one of the new rules. In the past, if you hit it against a robot and it goes out, that robot gets penalized. But now, this year, we penalize the kicker. And if you kick that one out, no matter where, even on your side, it will be a bonus for your opponent. So the purple ball will go in the opponent's corner. 2 extra points for your opponent. So, if I can just get over to my next slide. You have 2 ramps. On the one side, it's 5 centimeters high. So this robot can bump it, and that is allowed. The other side, you will see it's a ramp. It can go up. It can roll up that ramp. If your robot touches that red or your opponent's red, you will be disqualified immediately. And while I'm thinking of it, your robots, both of them can only handle 4 balls. You cannot, this robot on this side, it takes 4 balls and that one takes 4 balls. Then you have a 10-second penalty to get rid of it. Otherwise, you lose the game. So you cannot store all the balls and then at the end, you just kick over in the last second and win the game. Not allowed. This is the final.
And the judges call it. There they go. The second game.
And it looks like Taiwan against Taiwan. And look at the first thing that robot did there was to go and fetch the purple ball, and then they're keeping the purple ball. And now it's nearly to the end of the game. And that's the judge there in front with the hand. He gets another orange ball, goes over to the other side. And look at this strategy. That one robot is already standing there covering. Now this one goes, and at the last few seconds, they just push all the balls over. But Taiwan knew about it. And I think in this case, they won that one. So I will stop presenting now, and yes, you can ask some questions if there is, if Duncan will allow. So Duncan, I think this is over to you again.
For anybody who's never seen or tried out the Robo Sports category, it's one of our up and coming growing categories here in South Africa, and it is really an incredible one to get involved in. It is a lot more fun. The teams have a lot more energy. They enjoy it. The judges have a great time doing it, and it is really an incredible and fun event. Plus, you get to build 2 robots instead of 1, which is awesome. So please, if you are considering Robo Sports, there is never a better time than to have a look at next year's competition. Start preparing yourselves, and we do have some resources that you can get a hold of to assist you in all of this. And I'm sure that, Tony, you wouldn't mind answering any questions teams may have about this wonderful competition of Robo Sports, the same as I don't have any issues answering about Robo Mission. So
Duncan,
yes.
sorry, Duncan, I can actually say that we will support and assist teams if they want to do robo sports. It's quite fun, and we'll go all the way to get them ready for next year.
There you go. You have a co-coach almost with Tony there who will help you to get everything running and teach you some of the secrets on how to do as well as possible. We want to try and build up all of the teams that we have in South Africa. So if you are new, if you're a veteran and you're thinking of Robo Sports, let us know and we'll put you in contact with Tony and we can see how we can assist. We want as many teams as possible because the more teams we have, the more teams we get to send overseas, and the greater our chances are of coming home with a trophy at the international final. So that is our goal. We would love to see all of our South African teams come home with an awesome gold trophy. So I have now enabled all of your microphones. You should be able to unmute yourself and ask your questions if you like. I do see we have a few in the chats already. You are welcome to either type in the chat in the Q&A or to just unmute and ask. I think I'm going to go ahead and just start with what we have in the chat. I'll then give a chance for everyone to unmute if they would like and ask a question. So the first thing is we see that someone here has a DIY mat and they want to know if they will have some practice time to try the mats. So yes, in all categories, you will have an opportunity to practice on the official scoring mats. So you'll be able to test out your robots, see how they work and calibrate them before the official scoring rounds. I think the same is true with Robo Sports. There is some practice time and you'll be able to test
Oh, sorry.
and have fun.
Yeah, sorry, my mic was off. Yes, Duncan. So teams actually get 60 minutes to play beforehand, before the real competition, and they can play against each other or they can just fine-tune their robots. But yes, there's enough time beforehand to play. Thank you.
There we go. Thanks, Tony. So that means that you will have 60 minutes in Robo Sports to try out your robots. And what's really cool is you get to play against others. So if your robots have been lonely and have not had an opportunity to play against another team, this is a really cool thing to see. And you can really test your mettle and see how well you do. But I see we've got another question in the chat here of where can I find records? So you can find a lot of information online. There is a lot happening there. So you can find things on how to build robots, what kind of elements can be used, different mechanisms, as well as some ideas to assist with programming. You can find tons of information all available online at different sources. It all depends on what you are looking for. Tony, is there anything you'd like to say about the events as we wait?
No, I'm just excited. And I want to say to anybody, come have a look at what you're missing out. It's quite fun and it's nice. And we support each other. We don't win and shout at each other and boo. We really uplift each other. And that is what Robo Sports is all about. Yeah. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Duncan.
Thank you, Tony, for coming through and assisting. And thank you for offering to help any teams that are interested in Robo Sports. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. So I see we've got a question of how is the overflow working? You need to have registered for the overflow event and you would have then received your invitation for the overflow. If you haven't registered, it means that you will not be competing. But please, if you're not sure, send an email to WRO@Hands-on-Tech and we will be able to answer your questions. The overflow events are the same as all of the other events, and there is currently only one overflow event, and that is for Gauteng. Because we have just too many teams to get through, we created an extra event for teams to participate in. Thank you for joining today. I wish you the best of luck with your final preparations for your teams. I look forward to welcoming you all to our venues. Have fun, and remember, this is a competition for children, so please respect one another. You're all here because we're part of this wonderful world of robotics and coding, and we're all under the same banner and roof. Let's stay as a wonderful, happy family and support where we can. Thank you, Tony, for jumping in today and giving us an awesome rundown of Robo Sports.